This Preakness edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WinBet. Bet $50 at WinBet and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WinBet. Download the WinBet app now or visit winbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. You already play fantasy on Sleeper, but now you can win cold hard cash with their new over/under game. Just head to sleeper.com/SGP on your phone to join the SGPN group, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. That's sleeper.com/SGP. And make sure to download the SGPN app, your home for all of our free picks and podcasts.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Just here talking ponies. You got your shades over the eyes. I got mine in the. I need to look at the newspaper position. Maybe they're going to drop down for further review, but they are on a pivot, so we are ready to talk ponies. It's so fast how it happens. It's Derby and then a week and then boom. I go, Sean, we got Preakness this week. You go, holy shit.
I was surprised. It snuck right up on us. Complete surprise. Just like the horse Rich Strike that took down the Kentucky Derby. I mean, Ryan, I feel like we should give ourselves credit for getting that pick right, because the horse was added after we recorded the episode. Had I known there would have been an 80-1 replacement horse, I most certainly would have bet on it and predicted it. So I'm going to give myself partial credit for that.
Sean, I, like most of gambling Twitter, I had a piece of it. Every year, you know what I do? I wheel my exactas and my trifectas with the long shot. Every year I do it. I don't know. This year I won. No big deal. All right. I Photoshop some tickets. Cool. I'm a winner. Look at me. I'm a winner.
All right, here to talk ponies. We'll get to that in a second. Before we do that, want to shout out winbet.com. Of course, download that win betting app. You can bet bet $50, get $200 in free bets. So much going on. The WinBet Casino. Again, I'm wearing these. These would be awesome for playing some blackjack. And stay tuned. We could have a live blackjack stream. And if you're in a WinBet Casino state, hit us up for a special DGens only project. Tweet us at Gambling Podcast. But if you're already in a WinBet casino state, 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. And between now and May 22nd, I think you got a couple days left. Every $100 you bet on golf, you are automatically entered to win a trip to the Wynn Las Vegas. Got to opt in for that. Again, download the Win Betting app. Bet big, win bigger with WinBet. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Joining us here, Ryan, we have our ponies, our pony experts here. Kicking it off first, horse racing expert. He's also on the MLB Gambling Podcast, the Zed Run Gambling Podcast, Mr. Malcolm Bamford. What's happening, Malcolm?
Good evening, boys. How we doing? It pains me how much more enthusiastic you are about the ponies than the MLB Gambling Podcast. But there you go.
Come on, I've had some dabblings with baseball. When the Phillies won 3 in a row against the Dodgers, I was pretty excited about that. I didn't tweet about it, but I should have shared my excitement with you. No, the MLB Gambling Podcast is taking off. Nice work to Malcolm and the crew.
I don't think I've shared this with Malcolm, but I did. I think last time we were in Vegas for a conference, someone was making. We were talking about all the shows on the network. You know, I was selling the brand, and this person had listened to the baseball podcast, chimed in to say, yeah, it's crazy. They have this angle where they have a British guy talking about baseball. And it is kind of, I would imagine, I kind of like it as someone who's taken a step back on baseball. I feel like it's a nice little right hook there into the side, but yeah, I don't know. Malcolm teaches us new words every time we talk to him.
It can deflect. My accent can deflect from my terrible picks. That's what I'm going for. So,
yeah, I appreciate the whole Malcolm package. Joining us as well to talk ponies. He is the host of the notorious OTB, aka for Off Track Betting, and also on the Zed Run Gambling Podcast. He is the Wolf of Oaklawn. What's happening, Wolf?
Actually, I'm sorry, but for this week, this is the 1 week of the year that I insist that you refer to me as his Preakness.
Yes,
please and thank you.
I forgot about that. And shout out to his Preakness for, if you remember from the Kentucky Derby episode, I was obsessed with the term, the horse Cyberknife. And I was like, gotta bet on Cyberknife on name alone. And then the Wolf sent me this email or this link where it explains that Cyberknife is actually this like digital rectal tool that's used in fighting colon cancer. And again, sometimes with the Wolf, I don't know where the joke begins or ends. So I wasn't sure if he just Googled Cyberknife and found this, but it turns out the owner was actually like saved by this device. Is that right?
Yeah, and just rule of thumb, the joke always ends at ass cancer. It never progresses past there. Yeah, that's exactly like I was like, okay, this is going to take a little bit of the wind out of Sean's sails, knowing that his favorite name is this ass related. But yeah.
Well,
okay.
hey, I like fighting cancer. Would have liked it more if the goddamn horse would have won. But for the most part, I'm on board. Yeah,
Sean likes fighting cancer and Malcolm's whole package. The two things I learned in the last 2 minutes.
The Malcolm package is strong. All right, we're gonna talk Preakness. Well, there's a lot to get to. I think we almost have to talk about Preakness, the event, and then get to some of the horses because it is
notorious party.
It is a notorious party, a crazy hang. Before we get to that, for the people watching live on YouTube, real quick.
Okay.
Black Eyed Susan Stakes. I know, Wolf, you had some thoughts on that. So if you're watching live on YouTube, looking to get a little action in, what do you recommend for the Black Eyed Susan Stakes?
Well, we are actually 16 minutes away from the Miss Preakness, which leads into the Black Eyed Susan. But I'm going to use this to play into the Black Eyed Susan because I love some prices there. I'm using a horse in this race, the 12th at Pimlico, named Capo Costello. It's trained by Fausto Gutierrez. It's not a name that a lot of people know unless you know the name Latruska, who was the Eclipse Award winner, Mayor of the Year last year. She might be the best horse in training in North America right now. And he's doing a lot of the same thing, which is this thing has absolutely just run a hole through the wind in Mexico. And now he brings it into the United States. And I'm kind of thinking this might be Latruska with balls this time.
Real quick, run a hole through the wind. That sounds like a horse racing term I'm not familiar with. Are you sure you didn't steal this from Malcolm before the show? This sounds like a very British phrase.
I almost feel like it might be like the name of like a Christian Slater movie, possibly about like skateboarding or something. I don't even know where I picked that up from. I have a friend who's from West Virginia that says all sorts of delightful homespun things. I probably got it from him.
Okay.
You know, the people from West Virginia originally from England, so maybe there's the connection.
Putting it all together here. All right. So any other Malcolm, do you have any?
Wait, so let's say that you maybe there were some new vocabulary there. Just what's the horse we're betting on again? So everyone's
it's the 6 Capo Costello.
Perfect. Okay.
Right now sitting at 6-1. I would bet that to win straight up. And then I would play a daily double using this horse and then also the 1 Vindictive.
Ooh.
And then in the Black Eyed Susan, the 5 Beguine, the 8 Candy Light, and the 13 Morning Matcha.
This is some real DGen stuff.
So you got a 12-1, a 20-1, and a 20-1, all kicking off here pretty soon.
Yep.
All right.
That goes hard.
I'm
that
in.
goes hard.
And I'm in on all of those. So thank you keep us updated.
Yes. Maybe we'll have a reaction live to a win on the show.
I just placed 7 bets. So there you go.
Malcolm, any action before we kind of get to the Preakness here on Black Eyed Susan Stakes?
I've been very much today taking my lead from his Preakness. Just as we came on air to join the Zoom call, I had a little 10-1 winner over at Belmont, possibly, I think it was. So I had a little £20 on that. So I'm a couple of hundred up now. So I'm playing with house money. So I've just filled my boots on that Costico or whatever it was called, Kappa Cost, something like that.
There we go.
So I backed that. Yeah, I've gone old school. I backed that to win, place, and show. No messing about. So when you see my arms hit the air in about 12 minutes time,
I do feel like that is a common theme on our episodes where our guests are also, they're on the show, but they're also watching bets that they have going on. So
Malcolm's doing that.
I get the feeling Moon after a tennis tournament. It's
Yes.
just like that when
His
you're watching.
eyes are always like,
He's just watching so many different things.
he's got like 4 MLB day games going.
Yeah, he never listens to a word you say. He's just like that the entire time.
Malcolm's doing that thing like you got a little time to kill, or maybe you're just bored with the afternoon 1 o'clock slate of games. Yeah, just head over. There's plenty of action going on the track. Everything they say about baseball, all these games every day.
Yeah,
there's that many tracks. Horse racing. Let's go.
That's about
Let's
right.
go.
You can just chase degeneracy across the planet if you want to.
All right, let's talk about the Preakness. The Preakness, the event, aka the People's Derby. It really is. If you guys aren't familiar, it is like an all-time party event. If you've ever seen those like viral videos of drunk people running on porta potties, that is almost certainly from the Preakness. And then the people will have porta potty races on the top, and the people down below will whip full beers at them in an attempt to knock them off. So it gets wild. I went to school with a girl in college, and she went to the Preakness, and she was like partying, having a blast. And they're like, all right, we're going to go in and watch the horses. And she goes, wait, there's horses too? She had no idea she was at a horse racing event. That's how hammered she got. That's an all-timer. But yeah, it really has turned into. I mean, Wolf, you're familiar with the scene out there. What is it about the Preakness that has just kind of become so debaucherous?
I don't know. It's just crab cakes, football, and badass times. It just seems to be what Maryland does, apparently. I have no idea why the vibe is so different for this one, but they've really leaned into it. Like they used to have music on the infield, and now they've just gone like full on like mini Coachella. They're in the infield while people are. You think it's the pink mist that you're seeing from someone taking a headshot from a beer can running across the top of a porta potty, but fortunately it's not their brains. It's just the beer coming out. Yeah, man, it's brutal. And I love it. I love every part of it.
It's just so funny because the Kentucky Derby is like these giant fancy hats and sipping on mint juleps,
assholes.
And then the Preakness is like people doing
Coors Lights flying across the sky,
doing like key bumps of MDMA and porta potties. It's
Meanwhile, the only person
vibe.
with a huge hat at the Preakness is Pepper Jack, and he's got a lovely stable of young ladies that you can choose from.
Malcolm, do they? I know horse racing's big overseas as well. Do you guys have any horse racing events that are like big party events as well, or what's the like tailgating at a horse race in England?
Well, obviously we have Royal Ascot, and sometimes if your top hat can go slightly askew, that's a wild time.
That's the most British answer ever.
Yeah, you get 10 years in the Tower of London for that. No, some of the regional courses are a little bit wild. Newcastle. I'm pointing as if you can see it. Newcastle's about half a mile away from me, and what we tend to do is they put on a thing called Ladies' Day. Which is just an excuse for any female in a 40-mile radius just to get stupid drunk. And obviously the plan then is to go downtown about 6 hours later and just hoover them up. The amount of women walking around carrying their shoes by about 8 p.m. There's Liverpool is a great day out. They have the Grand National there at Aintree. Chester is a really nice day out. So yeah, it's not as wild. it tends to be the really silly posh ones, like I say, Ascot and Goodwood and stuff. Yeah, we save our drinking and fighting for the football.
Save it for the old soccer pitch. All right, we're gonna get to the picks. Before we do that, shout out Sleeper. That's right. Oh man, I am hooked on the Sleeper player props. Been going on. I mean, it really just adds another level because you had these NBA playoff games. There's only one game a night. I need more action, aka the Sleeper player props. You can copy our picks. I've been doing a ton of the 3-player player prop, a parlay there. Super fun to do those. You can copy each other. And of course, if you guys join Sleeper, go to sleeper.com/SGP. You will join our squad. And so we can see your picks. We can copy yours. You can talk trash in the little Sleeper chat. It's really fun. And again, sleeper.com/SGP. When you deposit, use our promo code SGP. Get 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And I know the guys in the NBA pod been giving out a bunch of picks. We've been giving them out on our show as well. So check that out. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. All right, here we go. Preakness starting off race 9, aka the Chick Lang Stakes. You got a couple 3-year-olds, 6 furloughs. Wolf, kick things off. What are we looking at here?
Furlongs.
That was the most spotless lead into a horse race I've ever been privileged to be on the other end of.
Furlough? Oh,
Furlough
yes.
is something to do to a sentence.
Furlough is what we're gonna do to Colby if he doesn't start. I don't know.
Whenever your pop passes away when you're in lockup, they furlough you so you can go to the funeral.
True.
That's how they. Yeah. Okay. So there's the Chick Lang Stakes. It's a pretty good good sprint race. I really like this one for a horse named Wheelan Springs. This is actually an Arkansas bred. So as a fellow Arkansas bred, it hits a little bit harder for me. This horse is a rising superstar, and I think it is going to get pretty much ignored on the board on Saturday because you have the presence of another horse named Cogburn for Steve Asmussen, who is going to take a ton of money, but Wheelan Springs has just kind of shown the ability to run and win in whatever fashion it takes. So I would not be shocked to see that price on Wheelan Springs creep up a little bit. I'll have to check and see what the morning line is, but I'm pretty sure Cogburn is your favorite there. But yeah, I am all in on that horse.
Can I just want to point this out before I don't know if Malcolm has an opinion on this, but I did get a little bit of Colby talking about Ed Cooley there. There was a little bit of a heart passion project.
So yeah, are we worried he's too close to this
might
horse?
Be too close to the situation here. So I just to me, I'm still going to bet it because in Wolf we trust, or sorry, in Preakness we trust this week. Yep. But I just want to call that out because I don't want to be seen as someone who's doing something deceitful or spamful or maybe trying to mislead our audience, Sean. So.
Ryan's like sending a subliminal message to the YouTube bots that accidentally took down our NBA show. Malcolm, are we worried? Are we worried about Wolf being too close to this Arkansas horse, or what's your take on the handicap there?
I am absolutely delighted that his Preakness has just put that up because that's the one I wanted as well.
Oh, nice.
And the reason I'm delighted is that I didn't expect it to be that fancy a price. But if you're telling me that Cogburn is going to be a little bit shorter with the Steve Asmussen money, then yeah, we might get a bit of a working man's price on Wheelan Springs. 1 3 in a row at the distance, which is kind of key. 6 furlongs and 7 furlongs to me tend to be the specialist distances. They're like 400 meters in athletics. You can go, some people can go 1 and 2, some people can go 8 and 15. There's only one kind of person can go 400 meters. You don't get people running that kind of discipline. So I wanted Wheelan Springs, but yeah, I'm delighted that Chase reckons it's going to be a bigger price. I co-sign him. He's a thoroughly independent and professional man.
Now you guys have been doing the Zed Run show. Have you picked up anything from doing the Zed Run races that you've actually used in regular, aka analog horse racing?
I call it meat sack horse racing.
The flesh and blood.
Yeah. whenever I run into these races where I have slightly geometric shaped horses that don't have any jockeys and they seem to be running on planet Tatooine, I just think back to this wealth of Zed knowledge that I have now. I don't know. The one thing I think it's making me do is like with my Zed stable, I've started paying a lot of attention to like what kind of patterns like my horse has to kind of try to put in the best spots. And I mean, that's what all trainers are doing. You just got to pay attention to the patterns and what they're trying to do, what spot they're trying to get their horse in.
I love the absolute dynamic amount of Zed intelligence that we're bringing to the organization.
Yes, we are bringing
employee training on site. Scott Bowser, Professor Scott Bowser.
Yes, if you would have told me years ago that we'd be employing Scott
2 years ago,
you train to train and guide people through digital crypto based Ethereum horse racing
before the pandemic,
and he would be very knowledgeable in that task, I would have been very surprised.
We had a great moment with Scott. I want to say it was like the second week or something when we were like getting our first horses purchased and everything. And he was just having like a terrible day at work. And me and Mal were just pounding him with questions. At some point he's like, listen, I've got all this going on at work. Just fucking Google it, dude.
I can't deal with it. Yeah, we finished him off that day.
I feel bad because I was doing the same thing. He's like, he sent me a text, I think on his lunch break, of like, you guys got to get this horse. And then I hadn't bought a horse in a while, so I kind of forgot the walkthrough. And I'm like, wait, what about this? Oh, my Polygon went here. What about my Matic? And he's like, Scott's like, this is all covered in episode 2. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
so funny,
so fun to get into the digital horse races. All right, moving over to race 12, aka the Jim McKay Turf Sprint, 3-year-olds and up, 5 furlongs on the turf.
Nice.
Wolf, kick it off. What do we got? A local horse we like here?
Yes.
Oh, Grateful Bread? Are you kidding me?
Grateful Bread. Yes. And not 100%. Only for the name. It's I love this pick. I love this play. It's probably going to get forgotten in the betting. And I can already tell you that someone who doesn't know anything about handicapping is going to hammer an exacta that is Grateful Bread and the 6 Smokin' J. Guaranteed. That 7-6 exacta is going to get pounded. But Grateful Bread, it's got heavy on Toledo, who's been just absolutely winning everything that's not nailed down today. And, he stays on the horse, really trending up, and the horse really pops second off of the layoff. So if it's had an extended period of not racing, it comes back, it has a race, kind of underperforms, but that second race back, it usually really takes a step forward.
I'm in on the 76 exacta box.
100% in on a Grateful Bread.
What is it?
What a long, strange trip it's gonna go on here to the winner's circle. Malcolm, are you on board with Grateful Bread? Are you like a Rolling Stones guy? What's your take?
I'll be honest. I handicapped 5 of the Pimlico races tomorrow, and this wasn't one of them.
No worries.
So I will all be all my information will be coming from his Preakness.
His Preakness, indeed.
But you do like the Grateful Dead.
Yes, right?
I do
or
like
no?
the Grateful Dead. I am a Rolling Stones man, but I'm more of a Bob Dylan man.
Okay. Dylan and
Respect.
Dylan and the Dead did a tour together. Make sure you check that out. I also think since Malcolm is
Will do.
you might like that.
You and the audience.
Yeah.
I think they're still selling tickets for that one.
The collective you. Yeah. I don't know how Jerry Garcia is holding up these days, but I do think Malcolm likes calling him the Preakness because he has, as a great English man, he has respect for the monarchy, and I feel like that's why he's leaning into the Preakness.
Lord
nickname.
Preakness.
When his Preakness puts his hand up on your hip, when he dips, you dip, and we dip. That's how it goes.
I gotta really tune into the Zed run.
Zed. I've listened to it. It is fun, and part of it was to once again remember how to rebuy the horses. So very helpful. And if you want to get in on Zed, it is. It's honestly with like ETH being at a lower price right now, it is a good time to pick up some of these horses. You know what else is a good time, Ryan? Picking up some more Athletic Greens. I just talked to the people at Athletic Greens. I'm like, I need more greens. Greens. You call me Sean Athletic Greens. I don't know how I just thought of this now, but what a new, I'm rebranding myself. No longer Stacking the Money Green, Sean Athletic Greens, because I've just been inhaling AG1, not only for the adaptogens, the probiotics, the superfoods, the minerals, the vitamins, but also, no, I think I nailed most of the reasons, but 7,000 5-star reviews, better sleep quality and recovery. You just feel better. It tastes good. It's less than your cold brew habit. Get going today on the Athletic Greens. Free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is go to athleticgreens.com/SGP, athleticgreens.com/SGP to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Also, while you're, that's great for your body, but what about what's great for your internet browsing, AKA IP Vanish? Oh man, again, when you're online, anything can happen. People can steal your data. They can, access all your information. Again, you got an IP address. Essentially, that's that's like your home address, right? When you're online, you wouldn't announce to the world like, "Hey, I'm not locking my doors." You gotta lock things up. You got to keep your IP safe, your data safe, your passwords, your browsing history, all that good stuff. Keep it locked, safe, secure. You can hide your location as well. Perfect for streaming on a Fire Stick or similar device. And if you use IP Vanish, 70% off their yearly plan and a 30-day money back guarantee. All you got to do is go to ipvanish.com/SGP, ipvanish.com/SGP. And now here we are at the Preakness, talking Preakness with the Freakness and Malcolm. Malcolm, I'll let you.
I'm here too.
Yeah, Ryan also is here. I'll let you, Malcolm. I'll let you kick things off. I read on your article over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Preakness favorites have won 10 of the last 20 races. I know Epicenter is the favorite. Are you riding Epicenter or are you fading Epicenter?
I am absolutely all out on Epicenter.
Yes.
I thought if I was going to fade it a little bit, I might as well. In for a penny, in for a pound. If this race was in August, September, October, absolutely, there's no doubt in my mind it's the best horse in the race. However, that race was 2 weeks ago, that Kentucky Derby, and he ran his heart out. He ran a monster race. I put in the article, how his legs didn't fall off coming down the stretch was remarkable. Everything that was up front, like I say, folded like a deck chair, and he just kept on going. Obviously, this 82 to 1 shot ran it down, came with a wet sail, but I just can't believe Epicenter can come out tomorrow and run the same race. This is something. It's the eye test. It's something that for 40 years I've been watching horse racing. I can't see them coming out 2 weeks later. It can't run the same race. I'm not buying it, and they shouldn't be selling it. I mean, it's an even money favourite. It might make a mug of me. It might go and win by 6 lengths, but I just can't have it. I think it takes a long time. That'll have bottomed the horse out for me. At which point I'll put a line through Epicenter completely.
Well, yeah,
I like that. I like that taking a stance. Real quick on Rich Strike. I know it's not running in the Preakness. Has it been busted yet? Is this to avoid the swirling controversies?
I mean, that video of the Rich Strike just attacking the other horses, like
alpha.
How was Wolf? How was Rich Strike not on some sort of I mean, whatever eugenics that Frank Thomas is always selling? Like,
yeah,
he's got to be on some sort of testosterone, right?
It's always amazing to me how much eugenics has done for Frank Thomas, but it seems to have done absolutely nothing for Doug Flutie.
No.
Yeah, I'll be smaller trainers, smaller ownership. Those aren't the guys that cheat, because if they get busted, it actually makes an impact in their daily lives as opposed to when the big guys get busted. Because if you look at how horse trainers are disciplined, it's super archaic. It's like $500 for a drug overage. It sounds like I'm trying to make that number really small to make it comical. No, that's literally like Brad Cox just had a Butte overage for one of his horses that ran last year, and he was fined a healthy $500 for it. Meanwhile, he won a couple, about $1 million probably for the race.
Seems like it's worth the risk and rolling the dice there.
Yeah, you're gonna scare me away from doing this. You're not even charging me as much as I spend at Costco on on any given week.
Oh, that's too bad. I like the story. I like the narrative because it's
and why isn't he running? I mean, he had such that come from behind victory that he had was it was
Sean,
one of the
when you dump the Gatorade, you know you're not going to bring your A game, just like he's talking about with Epicenter.
No, this does feel like
keep a price high,
a letdown spot. I mean, is it strategy wise for that horse owner? Is it just if he runs in the Preakness and he looks like crap, then he's the horse's seed isn't worth as much? Or like, is there any strategy, Malcolm, as to why you wouldn't want to run? Give it a shot for the Triple Crown.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason that they would run it is because of the Triple Crown angle. The countless reasons not to run it is that you could finish the thing off. It might come out of the race on Saturday completely broken hearted. Like if the thing's bottomed out, the same as Epicenter is, there's no point taking it. These are valuable animals. Like there's no point running the legs off it. It could run in June. It could run in the Belmont and go and win easy. I especially nowadays, classic horses, 3-year-olds, they might only run 3 or 4 times a year, and they could have 2 or 3 months between races. This is a very unique thing. To have the Preakness sort of 2 weeks after the Derby. It's quite an old-fashioned thing where they would run horses a lot more often. And the horse will be knackered. It'll be bottomed out, and there's no reason to take it.
Yeah.
So, smart.
No,
it's getting some mental health, a recharge,
some time off. Secret Oath right now, seeing like 9-2. I think both of you guys are pretty high on Secret Oath. Malcolm, make your case for Secret Oath here in the Preakness.
So this is the one I didn't actually know what Chase had picked. So if Chase likes it as well, I'm happy about that. Secret Oath is the only filly in the field. So she won the Kentucky Oaks on the Friday, the day before the Derby, which is the Derby equivalent for the girls. The speed figures that they've given her are right up there with Epicenter speed figures. So there's not too much in it on the bare form. Fillies haven't got a bad record, 6 for 55, which doesn't sound very many, but there's plenty of place efforts in there as well. She gets a £5 sex allowance. £5 could be worth maybe 2.5 lengths, I think, at this distance. And that might be all you need. I've got no problem with taking the filly at all. The 2 races visually are quite similar in that when the horses came to that third turn, they both made a move. If you ran them side by side, you'd see that Epicenter came hard on the bridle, tucked in behind horses, made a forward move. Secret Oath did a similar thing, but she swung round horses. So there's not much in them, and you're asking me to take even money or a shade of minus odds about Epicenter when I can get 4, 5, 5.5 to 1 about Secret Oath. I think the value's there for me. And like I say, I don't think Secret Oath had as hard a race as Epicenter did.
Yeah, I mean, it did seem like Epicenter just left it all on the track there. Wolf, it seems like I saw you nodding your head there. It seems like you're on board with Malcolm's take on how Secret Oath probably pretty similar odds of actually winning this thing, but a much better price.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that Epicenter didn't win, it took just a lemony snicket series of misfortunate events for that to happen. I mean, it's definitely the best, and the pace is not going to get as near as fast as it did in the Kentucky Derby, which had to happen for Rich Strike to win. And actually, the same thing kind of had to happen for Secret Oath to win the Oaks. It took a horse named Yaguri to go out there and just quarter horse out of the gate and set really, really sharp early fractions and to kind of set it up for Secret Oath. I don't see that happening in this Preakness. But she is a very capable filly, and she 100% is, capable of winning this race if the pace gets hot enough for her to pick up the pieces. I think Epicenter is your likely winner. It's not who I will be betting, though. I like early voting. The Chad Brown horse that came out of the New York Preps, the Wood Memorial and the Withers. If you watch the replay of his race in the Withers, he breaks like a shot. Like, gates open and he's 5 lengths ahead of everybody. If that's the case and there's not anybody really pressuring him, which there doesn't really project to be, he could just kind of walk the dog on the front end, control the pace, run how he wants to run. And it's another one that it's probably second choice on the board right now. However, you have to factor in that Secret Oath is a filly. It's going to take the hashtag girl dad money is going to come in pretty hard on Secret Oath, because everyone likes that story. And then people are going to absolutely slam Epicenter. So I think you get early voting maybe a little bit ignored, and you could get maybe a float up to 4-1 maybe.
Yeah, 4-1,
I like
5-1.
this. So we're waiting. So we like early voting, but we're waiting. We maybe are gonna, if we like to, we're gonna bet Secret Oath now, because you're saying maybe we get a future. Even I'm seeing some places out there, Sean, have futures where you can get Secret Oath at 5-1 actually.
Straight
so
plus 500.
Lock that in. You know the money's going to pour in from the narrative people, the people watching the pregame broadcast, like, oh, ladies.
Yeah.
Now that's a sound drop.
Fierce.
Malcolm, what about some of these longer shot ones? We have Fenwick at 66-1, Happy Jack 33-1. Armagnac at 25-1, Skippy Longstocking, again Hall of Fame name, at 25-1. Any of these longer shot horses you fancy?
Absolutely, yeah, there is one. So coming off what his Preakness has just said about early voting, I'm not convinced by early voting, by the way. Yeah, that's a line through that one for me. The horse I like is Skippy Longstocking. So we're taking a form line in the Wood Memorial, the race that early voting won. I don't think early voting stays. I don't think he's a strong finisher. Skippy Longstocking that day finished third, but the further the race went, the closer he got. Stayed on well. I think it's progressive, which means there's a little bit more to come. And he hasn't got much to find with early voting. I think maybe he was beaten 2.5 lengths. But like I say, he was coming late at the end. I'm not sure early voting will get home. So 25-1, I put Skippy Longstocking.
Let's go
in my exactor and trifectas box.
Now, I saw you had Skippy Longstocking. What are any of the other mid-range horses? You said you weren't totally on board with early votings. Finishing,
like
Simplification, Creative Minister. You had to pick one of those. Which one you going with?
Yeah, I've got Creative Minister. Firstly, the horse has been supplemented for an extra $150,000.
No, sorry to interrupt. What do you mean by supplemented for an extra $150,000?
No,
it gets all its vitamins and minerals. That's how.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So athletic greens for horses.
Yeah, exactly.
You have asked me this before, Sean. So really, you should be telling us the answer to that question.
You sound like Scott.
Again. So obviously, there's various stages which you can enter the race. You can enter the Derby, the Preakness, things like that. So you can enter it 3 years ago when the horse is born, and it might cost you $1,000. You can enter it when the horse is 6 months a year. If you enter it last week, the price goes up at all the stages.
Oh, okay.
If you enter the horse last week, it costs you $150,000 to enter. So they obviously never put it in. It might not have been bred particularly well, or an administrative oversight, which is unlikely. So for whatever reason, they didn't put it in the race, and they feel that it's worth that extra $150,000. Now that does sound like a lot. To be fair, that might be like us spending an extra $50 on something. So the money isn't the be all and end all. I liked his last run. He impressed me visually. Wasn't a lower grade. So again, we're looking for this horse to improve. But the 3-year-olds haven't run many races. He's got a really good attitude, and I think he'll be staying on near the end. I think that we need a little bit more pace up top. His Preakness isn't sure about the pace at the front, but I would need that pace to collapse. And then Skippy Longstocking and Creative Minister can come and fill the places for me.
Impressed me visually. I'm going to use that for football.
I also like that.
Get too into Skippy Longstocking. Yes. I just want to let you know he is named for a murderous clown.
Okay. Well, I still
just a bit outside. Sean's nailing the names lately. Cyberknife,
Skippy Longstocking. What about you, Wolf? Any other horses you think we should take a look at? Either long shot, or just horses you haven't gotten down on.
Man, you kind of mentioned the only other two that I would really actually consider. And when you gave Mal the toss up, simplification or creative minister, I'm the same way. I like creative minister as a horse that can get a piece or maybe sneak up and actually win the thing. I like Skippy Longstocking a whole lot, but when you bet on Skippy Longstocking, the bet that you're making is that his trainer, Safi Joseph Jr., that his game is actually going to travel from Florida to another state. His horses seem to don't really, perform whenever they ship out. So I like it, but it's kind of a buyer beware there. The price is going to be hard to say no to. Simple Jack, don't like him really. Nah, I mean, that's pretty much, we're going from the most epic betting Kentucky Derby race to, a fairly run of the mill betting race when it comes to the Preakness this year.
Yeah, seems a little straight laced, but I love the Skippy Longstocking.
Yeah, we're totally out on Doug O'Neill this year. We're certain he's not going to find his way into the winner's circle.
I mean, it's hard to count out Doug, but
Doug finds ways.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no, I'm just checking because I'm just making mental notes of what I'm betting on.
I mean, I think I'll kick it off. Just based off their picks here. I think the way I'm going to do,
inspired by.
Yes. I gotta get an email going to myself with all these all these freaking winners.
CC me on this one.
So obviously we're gonna get a little action on Secret Oath to win. That I think I feel very good about that. Secret Oath to win. Then we get a little Skippy Longstocking to win. Got to get my long shot in there. And then I think a variety of boxes with also boxes. Early voting in there to work in. I see what you're doing there. You want to make sure that you like both picks equally. I don't want to have one of these guys on the show that gives out a trifecta and then I don't have it. So I want to make sure I'm covered.
But you're creating like Frankenstein with their picks.
No,
you're taking a little of Chase and a little of Malcolm.
Well,
be careful.
So I think Secret Oath to win, Skippy Longstocking to win, and then Secret Oath, early voting, and creative minister.
Yeah,
that's the try box.
Oh wow.
What do you got, Kramer?
Do you guys want the updated odds? I actually just found them on Horse Rate. So this is as of I think a couple hours ago. Right now, Epicenter is the even money favorite. Your second choice is all the way at 6-1 with Secret Oath.
Wow.
Happy Jack, third choice 7-1, and early voting, fourth choice at 9-1. I would love for it to stay this way.
You know what? Then I'll throw early voting. If early voting is 9-1, I'm gonna throw a small sprinkle on that to win as well. And I'm covered.
Did you say Happy Jack was 7-1? Jeez,
7-1. I don't know if that's just one excitable fool with a Louis Vuitton bag full of cash or what the deal is, but that's some pretty significant line movement because he was 30-1 on the morning line.
Doug O'Neill.
Right in front of me now. I can get 40-1 at the touch of a button here. So get 40-1 about the 7-1 shot. That might
Sean, call the EV, please.
There's the EV opportunity.
Malcolm is robbing some poor book across. All right, so I think you have to include the Skippy Longstocking situation into something, right?
Yes.
What's the best?
And also obviously Grateful Bread.
Don't forget that. With Smoke and Jay?
No, just Grateful Bread to win.
Yeah, you are a square. You just like the music. Give me.
Save that for you, Rod.
Yeah, fucking Athletic Greens, baby. All right, Skippy Longstock. So we should. I like the idea of fading Epicenter. I'm gonna join in on that. We're gonna take Secret Oath to win. We're gonna take a try box of Secret Oath with the 5 and the 9, and we're gonna just for fun because obviously something's going on. Doug O'Neill. We're going to do an additional try box 4, 5, 6.
I mean, the way the market has moved, I don't blame you for putting that together at all. I mean, that's another one that you could probably just keep your eyes open, and I guarantee that price will probably float back up. And every time you see it tick up, you can just go ahead and throw another win bet on it if you want.
I appreciate the compliment. Not the first time I've been called a market reader, but thank you.
Kramer's got it all figured out.
Yeah. Just like the fucking Heat. NBA's rigged.
That was a brutal game.
The way I think I'm going to end up playing the Preakness is I do think you can beat Epicenter, but I don't think you beat Epicenter past second place. I think if he's first or second is how it goes. And so what I will do is I will take my 2 overlays that I like and I will put them in first place. So it will be like Secret Oath and early voting. And then in second place, it will just be Epicenter. And then in third, I'm going to wheel in those longer horses like Creative Minister, maybe even Simplification, maybe even Stupid Ass Jack and Skippy Longstocking too.
Let's go.
Oh man.
So Malcolm, what is it? What's the final card looking like for the Preakness?
I would have an aneurysm if I had to bet horse race in the way you Americans bet it every day. It absolutely sends me berserk.
It's like doing a Sudoku.
I back Secret Oath to win. I back Creative Minister and Skippy Longstocking each way. There, dead easy. So each way for anybody who doesn't know, win, place, show. So Secret Oath wins, and then we'll pick some money up when Creative Minister and Skippy Longstocking chase it home.
All right. I like it. All right.
I've got the Pimlico live feed up right now, and the Morgan State marching band is just putting it down on the turf course, man. Like, I think the drum major just hit the splits. I haven't seen moves like this since Nick Cannon.
Oh, yeah.
They're there for the party.
All right. Thank you guys, as always, for coming on the show. And Wolf, you have a big birthday coming up Sunday.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday.
Give him a follow on Twitter at Of Oaklawn, and make sure you check out the Notorious OTB wherever you get your podcast. Wolf, what can we expect on the OTB show coming up?
Oh man, I'm in negotiations with one Colby Triple Option Dant to maybe do a series of trying to teach Colby how to handicap the ponies.
Yes,
yes.
Probably a lot of me opining. That kind of seems to be a little bit of a theme. And then, I mean, just spreading the love. You know why? Because it's the Brooklyn way.
All right, I got it. Malcolm, what do you got? What do you got coming up on the MLB gambling podcast? Any who you hot on this week, baseball wise?
Well, it's been the usual grind. We're in the middle of an epic presenter versus presenter battle in the DGens Fantasy League, and I am currently tearing Noah Bennick a new arsehole because I'm 9-1 up. On
nice.
Noah, with 2 days left to go. So I'm getting plenty of value for that. But the baseball season's just settling down now. Obviously there's small sample size. People get a bit carried away. So just start to settle down. I took the Yankees early on, and everyone got into me because I don't think anyone likes the Yankees. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But they keep winning. So, it turns out I'm a genius.
Fun team to hate. And, make sure you subscribe to the MLB Gambling Podcast and check out both these fellas on the Zed Run Gambling Podcast with longtime friend of the program, Scott Bowser. And, give Malcolm a follow on Twitter at Mal_B_sport. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Rate, review, share, and sportsgamblingpodcast.com/merch Monday. Submit your review. Giving away free gear every Monday for the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
More dangerous, riding a horse or running over porta potties?
Kramer, let it ride. Awesome.